I'm cruising at 35,000 feet, somewhere over the vast, empty expanse of the Pacific Ocean. The hum of the engines is a familiar lullaby. The endless blue outside the cockpit window, my office view. My name is Alex Renner, and for the last 20 years, this has been my life. Captain of a Boeing 777. Tonight, it's a red-eye from Los Angeles to Sydney. Routine. Or so I thought. Beside me sits my co-pilot, a young guy named Ben Carter. He's been with the airline for about a year, sharp, eager, and by all accounts, a model first officer. We've flown together a handful of times, and he's always been professional. Maybe a little too quiet, a little too reserved, but I chalked it up to him being new, still finding his footing. Tonight, though, something is off. It's a subtle tension in the air, a certain stiffness in his posture that wasn't there on takeoff. We're a few hours into the flight. The cabin is dark. Most of the 300 souls on board are asleep. The flight attendants are doing their quiet rounds. It's that peaceful, dead-of-night part of the journey where the world feels a million miles away. I decide to stretch my legs and grab another coffee. "I'll be right back, Ben. You have the controls," I say, patting his shoulder. He just nods, his eyes fixed on the instrument panel. As I step out of the cockpit, I close the door behind me. That's when I see it. It's a small detail, something almost anyone would miss. Tucked into the side pocket of Ben's flight bag, which he'd left just inside the cockpit door, is a piece of paper. It's folded, but a corner is sticking out, and on it, I can see a hand-drawn diagram. It's a schematic of the 777's cockpit door locking mechanism, not the standard one from the training manuals. This one has notes scribbled in the margins, annotations about overriding the electronic lock from the inside. My blood runs cold. Why would a co-pilot use a hand-drawn schematic to override his own cockpit door? The flight manual has all the emergency procedures. This feels clandestine. My heart starts to pound a quiet, frantic rhythm against my ribs. I try to dismiss it. Maybe he's just an aviation geek, overly curious about the plane's systems. But my gut, the gut that's kept me and my passengers safe for 2 decades, is screaming that something is wrong. I make my way to the galley, my mind racing. I pour a coffee I don't even want, the hot liquid sloshing in the cup as my hand trembles slightly. I have to get back in there. I have to know more. But I can't let on that I'm suspicious. I need to act normal. I take a deep breath, schooling my features into a relaxed smile for the flight attendant, and head back to the cockpit. I knock on the door, the standard 2-tap code. A moment passes, then another, longer than it should. Finally, the lock clicks open. I step inside, and the sight that greets me confirms my worst fears. Ben is no longer just looking at the instrument panel. In his hand, he's holding a small, sophisticated-looking device, a keypad with a short antenna. It's not airline-issue equipment. And on the multifunction display, he's pulled up a communications page I've never seen before. A secure text channel. He quickly shoves the device out of sight and switches the screen back to the navigation map the moment he sees me. "Everything all right?" I ask, my voice unnervingly calm. "Yeah, Captain. Just running a system diagnostic," he lies. His voice is steady, but his eyes dart away from mine. The lie is too quick, too smooth. He was prepared for me to come back. My mind is a whirlwind. He's communicating with someone. That schematic wasn't for getting in. It was to make sure no one else could. He has a device to jam or override something. This isn't just a rogue co-pilot. This is organized. This is a hijacking. But it's the quietest, most insidious hijacking I could ever imagine. No screaming, no weapons waved in the cabin. Just a silent takeover of the flight deck, right under my nose. I sit back down in my captain's chair, the worn leather suddenly feeling alien. The hum of the engines no longer sounds like a lullaby. It sounds like a countdown timer. I have to assume there are others, accomplices among the passengers. If I make a move, if I try to overpower Ben right here and now, they could cause chaos in the cabin. Panic at 35,000 feet is a death sentence. I need a plan. I can't use the radio. He'd know immediately. I can't trigger the hijack alert code on the transponder. He's watching the instruments like a hawk. I am completely and utterly isolated, trapped in a 200-ton metal tube with a traitor in the seat next to me, and 300 innocent people sleeping peacefully behind me. My gaze falls on the control panel, on the myriad of buttons and switches that I know like the back of my hand. There has to be a way to signal the outside world without him knowing. A subtle change in our flight path, a slight, deliberate deviation that air traffic control would notice? No, he's a pilot. He'd spot that in a second. Then an idea begins to form, a desperate, crazy gamble. It's based on an old pilot's tale, a kind of legend about a non-standard emergency procedure that is not in any of the official books. It involves using the aircraft's ACAR system, the system that sends short, automatic text messages about the plane's status to the airline's ground base. Things like engine performance, fuel levels, takeoff and landing times. It's mostly automated. Ben is probably monitoring the standard comms, but he might not be paying close attention to the raw data feeds from ACARs. My plan is to subtly manipulate the engine sensor data. I can't just shut an engine down, but I can manually input false sensor readings. I can create a sequence of phantom fluctuations in the oil pressure or turbine temperature, a pattern so unusual, so specific, that it would look less like a malfunction and more like a message, a digital SOS. The question is, would anyone on the ground be smart enough to decipher it? Would the maintenance crew just see it as a glitchy sensor? Or would someone somewhere see the impossible pattern and understand that the pilot was trying to talk? I need a distraction. I need to get Ben's attention away from the control panel for a few critical moments. "Hey, Ben," I say, my voice casual. "The galley's a mess. Looks like one of the forward coffee makers is on the fritz, leaking everywhere. Could you do me a solid and go take a look? The flight attendants are swamped, and I don't want it to short out the electrical panel. It's a believable lie. Maintenance issues happen." He hesitates, his eyes narrowing slightly. He's weighing the risk of leaving me alone against the risk of ignoring a potential electrical problem. "Sure, Captain," he says finally, unbuckling his seatbelt. "I'll go check it out." The moment the cockpit door closes behind him, my fingers fly across the keypad of the flight management computer. I pull up the ACAR's maintenance page. I have maybe a minute, 2 at most. I start inputting the false data, creating a sequence of spikes in the left engine's oil pressure readings. Up, down, a long pulse, then 3 short ones, then 3 long ones. ... dash, 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 dot. SOS in Morse code, written in the language of engine data. I send the data packet. Then I do it again for the right engine's fuel flow, and again for the turbine vibration levels. I create a cascade of nonsensical, yet patterned, error messages. Just as I finish, the door clicks. Ben steps back in. "False alarm," he says, a little too quickly. "Just some spilled water." He knows. He knows I sent him on a wild goose chase. His eyes flick to the screen, but I've already switched it back to the main navigation display. He can't prove anything, but the trust is gone. The air is thick with open hostility now. We sit in silence for what feels like an eternity. The Pacific is still black. The cabin is still quiet. My heart is pounding. Did it work? Did anyone see it? Or did I just waste my only chance? Suddenly, a message flashes on the ACAR screen. It's a text-based message from airline operations. Usually, it's something mundane like weather updates. But this message is different. It just says, "Flight 22, confirm status. We are seeing anomalous engine readings. Are you declaring an emergency?" Ben sees it at the same time I do. His face pales. He knows I've communicated with the ground. He reaches for something inside his jacket. I don't wait to see what it is. I slam my elbow into his side, hard, knocking the wind out of him. He grunts, and I lunge for his hand. We grapple for a moment, a clumsy, desperate fight in the cramped space. He's younger, but I have adrenaline and 20 years of righteous fury on my side. I manage to wrench the device from his grip and throw it against the back wall of the cockpit, where it shatters. At the same time, I flick a switch on the control panel. It's the cockpit door lock override. I seal the door, locking Ben in here with me and everyone else out. Then I grab the radio microphone. Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Flight 22. We have a hijack situation in the cockpit. Co-pilot is hostile. I have control of the aircraft, but I need immediate assistance. We are at... I rattle off our coordinates. Ben lunges at me again, but it's over. The element of surprise is gone. The whole world knows what's happening. Now, it's just me, a rogue co-pilot, and a long, long flight ahead of us. But for the first time in hours, I feel like I'm the one in control. The engines are humming a new tune now. It's not a lullaby, and it's not a countdown. It's a battle cry, and I'm ready to fly this plane home.